Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Scrambled Jake's Breakfast Company. Everyone knows that their weekends are just fantastic over there. So many people start their weekend mornings at Scrambled Jake's. It's unreal. But you can start your workday mornings at Scrambled Jake's as well. Monday through Friday, breakfast, brunch, lunch, they do it all. And that includes great takeout food, whether you're working in the office or working from home. Scrambled Jake's Breakfast Company. Fantastic menu, great local place. And if you're wanting to start your day, they've spread it out over there, so it's very safe. ScrambledJakes.com. Check them out online. Try it yourself. You'll become a regular. Scrambled Jakes. Okay. The heart and soul of last year's Tennessee football team was Jauan Jennings. He's gone, and that leaves a lot to be replaced in terms of production, not just the heart and soul part. You see the numbers right here in terms of the team versus Jennings last year. Receiving yards, receptions, receiving TDs, total offensive TDs. He was 25 to 45% of your offense in every one of those categories. That is a heck of a guy to lose. And then you throw in the fact that how many times did you throw him a ball on 3rd and 4 and he fought through somebody to get that extra yard? How many times did he break 3 tackles and make it into the end zone? That guy would run through a brick wall, literally. Yeah. Now you take that out. He was also a team leader, one of the guys that went to Jeremy Pruitt and said, hey, Garantano should be our guy. After all those things went haywire, and they brought him back. In terms of replacing him, can they do it? I think that's one of the bigger questions for the entire season. And if you want to go back to 98 and say, well, people wondered how do you replace Peyton Manning, you won a national championship. That's true. That team, however, veterans up and down, loaded with talent on both sides of the ball. So when I ask this question, I throw in this caveat, 3rd year of the program. Is this team ready to replace a team leader and a guy who carried your offense at times like Jauan Jennings?
No. I mean, first off, he brought an energy at times with the ability to break tackles and make plays, and what I guess all of his teammates called him the dog. But he was his ability to do that, I think, energized the team. So that's one aspect I don't think you have back. I don't see that at Josh Palmer or Brandon Johnson. Their personalities are not like that. I don't see anybody else on the offense that can do it. I don't really know that there's anybody on the team that can do it. So I'm going to say no from that perspective. Also, I don't think anybody will be as productive as a receiver as Jennings was. I think he's a huge loss to this football team. I know a lot of times you say, well, you got to make it up by committee. It's going to be a heck of a committee to make up what Jauan Jennings brought to Tennessee.
Chuck, can they replace him effectively?
Well, no, certainly not in the first game, you wouldn't think.
I mean for the season, can they replace him effectively?
You doubt that you're going to have, and don't forget, I mean, he missed a half in the bowl game, so he would have been a 1,000-yard receiver. So, no. I mean, it's going to take time, but, I mean, does who else is going to benefit, is going to get those catches, get those touches, because there's an opportunity there. It's funny you asked that, because I Googled it this morning and got the YouTube of the highlights of the Tennessee and South Carolina. And goodness gracious, I would want my receivers to watch that. The tackles that Jauan Jennings broke on one touchdown play, I wrote down the same thing, would literally run through a brick wall to make a catch. So no, you don't replace that, but in time, there will be people that step up and they will benefit from the more touches out there.
Josh, doesn't mean you can't win, doesn't mean you can't have a good season, but in terms of replacing a guy with both the leadership, the fire, and then everything that he brought to the offense, can they do it effectively?
I don't see how. Statistically, I would offer up what Jimmy mentioned, the committee, and you're asking a lot of people. But I would start roll calling it, and I would say you have to figure out ways that Ty Chandler, Eric Gray, Brandon Kennedy, Velus Jones, you hope that individual plays combine for what Jauan was able to do himself. Emotionally, I would say no way. I mean, a guy like Trey Smith is somebody that I think you look to on the offense, that he's the kind of guy that can help lead you in that regard. But a skill position, playmaking, emotional leader, I don't see who that is. Eric Gray can be an explosive player, and I think that can fire up teammates. But the way that you think about that Georgia State loss, and Jauan responded and said, this isn't a one-game fight, and you saw him on the practice field, the videos of him firing up his teammates, I don't think that's there.
He played so close to the line, and against Vanderbilt, he went over the line. But he played on that edge where he was so fired up that it almost got the better of him at times. I just don't see anybody on this team this year that's going to have that kind of energy, emotion that they can bring to the team. Doesn't mean you can't win.
Right.
I'm just thinking if there's anybody going, okay, well, he'll replace Juwan Jennings and he'll replace Callaway. I don't think anybody's going to replace Juwan Jennings.
And also, if you ask people on the team, who's the toughest guy on the squad?
Right.
Yeah.
Almost to a man, it would be Juwan Jennings. If you were going to get in a boxing ring with somebody, that's the guy you didn't want to see in the other corner.
All right, we're going to flip that. I want to talk about on defense. You lost your main sack guy in Darrell Taylor. Can they replace him effectively? That may be a different answer. We'll see. Coming back on the Sports Source.